So the team at Razer was kind enough to loan me one of their top of the line laptops, and I took it to Gamescom 2025. This is specifically the Razer Blade 16. This laptop has the AMD Ryzen AI 9 365 and NVIDIA RTX 5080, 64 gigabytes of 8000 megahertz RAM with a 2 terabyte SSD installed. You can configure the laptop to your liking on the website, dropping down to like a 5060, lowering storage, or dropping down the RAM allocated, giving it a range on the website of $1,899.99 for the low end unit and $4,499 on the high end. I was loaned the high end option. So I've seen the reviews for this unit out there. People will benchmark it. They'll point out that the graphics card performs about the same as the previous model, and they'll really focus in on the nitty gritty about benchmarks, etc. Seeing I'm behind the game on all of that, I will recommend one of the other platforms who've done all that testing. They've all come to the same conclusion. I didn't think it was a good use of my time. I wanted to try something different with this tech review. I wanted to take the laptop on a work trip and see how I felt about it. Give it some real world testing. See what challenges I found, see where it worked great and where it didn't. While I did that, took it to Gamescom, used it for a week. Here are my thoughts. So first things first, when I get a laptop, the one thing that I always have an issue with, except with MacBooks, is that my hands will rest on the keyboard in a way that touches the mouse pad and causes the mouse to move, or the mouse to do something annoying like jump to a part of the paragraph I didn't want it to. I feel like Razer has done a pretty good job of striking a balance here on the size of the touchpad versus my big old chunky hands. While I did still have some issues, once I got a feel for the laptop and where your hands are supposed to rest, it happened less and less during my time with the device. I know this is a silly thing, but it's one of the most important things for me because of how I use a laptop. If I'm on a plane or in a space where I want to write, I don't often have a perfect angle or I have to sit sort of awkward, and it can be super annoying when you're writing and having issues. So while I did still encounter it, this was a huge step up from laptops that I've used in the past. Now, the best feature by far is its ability to game. I was playing Metal Gear Solid Delta and Gears of War Reloaded on an airplane with an Xbox controller connected to the laptop, and it was great. When I got to my hotel room, I even reconfigured my room to be like my home, and I got the laptop set up in a way that I was able to output it to the television. I could play Delta, I could play Gears. I had just finished Metal Gear Solid Delta before the trip, so I actually installed the original Metal Gear Solid from the Volume 1 collection, and I played through almost the entire game just running off of the laptop on the television. I know it's not the graphical powerhouse. I probably should be using the test limits of this thing, but I already knew that Delta ran great. I played a bunch of it on the plane and Gears ran great. So it was a great treat to be able to fire up whatever PC game I wanted and just play. So I was able to test out Delta not only in an airport, but on an actual plane. It was kind of crazy to be sitting on an airplane playing a video game with some of the highest quality settings I possibly could. I got very lucky. I got a great seat and just played video games basically the entire flight. I suppose the one tricky thing was that the hefty power brick didn't work with every outlet on the plane, or I would have to pause for a while to charge the laptop if the battery got low. This only happened when I was gaming, not so much when I was writing or editing videos. I have to say this, the laptop design is really, really great. You have a SD card reader, a USB-C port, a USB port, and HDMI out on one side, your power adapter, two USB ports, and a USB-C port with a headphone jack on the other side. I like that the power brick adapter plugs in and stays flush with the laptop. It's not sticking out awkwardly to the side or like sort of on the back. Sometimes it'll sit sort of weird. It just folds back really nice directly towards the power brick and then gives you power. And it's very thin and light. The website says it's 4.71 pounds or 2.14 kilograms. It's 14.9 millimeters to 17.4 millimeters. Very thin, very sleek, and it packs away really, really nice in any sort of laptop bag you might have. I usually use a MacBook Pro, and this fit right in where my MacBook was previously. One issue I ended up encountering with the laptop was that it let me down in a very clutch moment when I was using the Elgato 4KX. I was in a pinch and needed to do direct feed while I was on the show floor, capture right into the laptop, and this was for High on Life 2. I set it to the best settings I could on the Elgato software, and it appeared to be capturing fine. There was no indication there were any lag or any issues. I was actually playing off of the monitor for a little bit, the display actually built into the laptop, and then when I got back to my hotel, I was heartbroken to find out that it actually didn't capture properly. There was stuttering, and I think this is because of the battery profile being set improperly. I have seen other people comment on the battery profile issues, and I think that's what ended up biting me in the butt for this one. In terms of overall production, you need to know that you can trust your tools, but you also need to know the ins and outs of how it functions. Unfortunately, there was no indication there was a problem until later, and this just failed me in this one instance. I would have to troubleshoot and figure out what happened. Was it my battery profile settings? Like, what caused this issue? What was it in this unique instance where it let me down? But it happened, and I'm telling you about it. The display, it's a 16-inch QHD 240 hertz OLED, so the display looks gorgeous, as you can see in all my footage. I really, really love how it looks. It looks great in all settings. I didn't have any viewing angle issues like I read some people commenting on. I just think this is a really gorgeous display. The keyboard can also be customized using Razer Chroma. I didn't go into all of that, but I really like that by default, when you hit the function key, it dims all the other keys except the function keys. I know that's a small touch. You're probably used to it if you know laptops, but it's really nice because it makes it easy for me to find my brightness settings or my key brightness settings. And if I'm in a dark setting, like on an airplane, for example, you just want to be able to shut that stuff down or turn it down. And in terms of production, the laptop was a workhorse. I did all my video editing, OBS recording. I was able to use it for my live stream directly at the Game Awards. I popped it out, opened it up, and was able to adjust some settings in OBS. It is a fantastic portable solution if you need a workhorse to do everything that your home machine can do, or if you want it to be your main machine, it could probably handle that no problem, especially if you get a higher end model. There was a lot of talk about the speakers. The speakers are fine. The speakers have 6 built-in speakers with smart amp, but because I was hooking it up to a TV and I had options like pairing my Bluetooth headphones to the laptop, I didn't use them that much. I definitely prefer the bassier sound of my Raycon headphones over the audio that it output by default. But this is supposedly a key feature, so if you're an audiophile, you might end up liking this, and it does support 7.1 codec via HDMI, THX spatial audio. Those are some features you might want to know about. I like playing with headphones on. I don't like having my laptop to play audio, but some people might appreciate these notes. Maybe you know more about what that means. I'm 100% of the time, anytime I'm gaming, I want headphones on, period. I'll say all up, this is a great laptop. It's very powerful. It can run any game you throw at it right now, and it's very easy to get around with it. The power brick is a little chunky, but I think all power bricks for laptops like this are big. If it hadn't let me down at that one capture appointment, I would be giving it 5 stars. However, due to the power profile issues that can cause problems with external devices, and on that note, I hope Razer is able to figure out a way to know when a device needs more power and make sure it gets it so it doesn't end up corrupting files or slowing down a video record or something or affecting anything else. But yeah, all up, I really like the laptop. It is great. I'm sad to have to send it back, honestly. But a huge thank you to Razer for letting me experiment with it, give it a review, test out the HDMI 2.1. The whole thing is very, very slick. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when my content goes live. Thank you, everybody, for all the support. Speaking of support, if you want to support at a higher tier, you can do so by joining patreon.com/SaveState Plus. That's the best place to support, honestly, especially with YouTube being super weird lately. Or you can become a member here on YouTube. Thank you, everybody who has backed me this far. I'm going to get out of here, but before I go, check out my unboxing and video all about the Nintendo Switch 2 if you like tech stuff. And I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.